Okay, welcome to Cooking with Alta. Tonight we are going to make what is formerly known as dough pep steaks. Now, you used to be able to buy dough pep flour in the store, but now that is long gone. So instead we are using 5 cups of Vital Wheat gluten flour. Is that right? Yes. And now we're going to add
1 2/3 cups of whole wheat flour.
Okay.
Then we're going to add a 1/2 cup, 2/3 cup of tapioca and some yeast and some 1 2/3 teaspoons of bacon yeast and 1 2/3 teaspoon of seasoning salt and 6 tablespoons of yeast flakes.
Oh, is that like brewer's yeast?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
And some onion flakes.
Is
and
that
some?
about 1/4 of a cup, would you say?
Oh, I guess so. No, it wasn't. Probably 1/4 of a cup. 2 or 3 tablespoons, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 1/4 of a cup. I don't know. Mix all that together. Then we mix together. We mix together a 1/2 cup of soy sauce. And 5 cups of warm water.
This is another one of those workout recipes, isn't it?
Workout recipe.
It's going to be a workout for your arms.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're just throwing a little more water in there?
It says from 5 to 5 1/4, or 5 1/2, or 5 1/4.
Oh, I see.
So
After you get it all mixed together, put a little water on your cutting board and we start the kneading process.
not very much. We don't have to knead it, just to mix it.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have to be a lot.
So you're dividing it into 2 logs? That sounds great.
How long are those loaves supposed to sit?
It's while we make our broth.
Oh, okay. So you just let them chill out and then we're going to make a broth. You have quite the setup going over here.
Let's see, 3 times 6 cups. Okay. There's 6 cups.
6 of how many do we need?
21.
21 cups of water. How long have you been making this recipe?
Quite a while.
Yes.
I don't know.
Do you know where this one came from?
I don't know what.
Do you know where this recipe came from?
Yes, from Shirley Peterson, part of it. Part of it is from Shirley Peterson, and then I added to it.
Oh.
And I added the yeast, and that's really a good
Oh,
one. Because
yeah.
it makes them lighter.
Right.
Okay, there's 18. And 18. 3 more cups.
The same Shirley Peterson that passed away last week?
And 2 teaspoons of baking yeast. And some yeast flakes. And
2
some
teaspoons of baking yeast and yeast flakes?
bacon yeast.
Oh, bacon.
Bacon yeast.
I've never heard of bacon yeast.
Well, that's what
Oh. Okay.
Oh, that isn't it here. 2 teaspoons of bacon yeast.
Would you like me to get your teaspoons out?
No,
Or you're just going to eye it? Okay.
I did, I guess. And 6 tablespoons of yeast flakes.
How are these guys doing down here?
1
Still
and
good.
1/2 cups of soy sauce.
Into the broth. You're kind of just putting the same stuff into the broth that you put
Yeah,
into the
just
steak.
about. And some tomato juice.
So you just added some garlic powder?
Huh?
You just added a couple shakes of garlic powder?
Oh, I see. Yeah, whatever.
And now you're on the hunt for some tomato juice, huh? In goes some tomato sauce or juice or something to make it tomatoey.
Let's see.
And here's your onion soup mix.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Are you dividing it for one for each loaf?
Yeah, just to divide it up because it's awful easy to get too much for the kettle.
Oh,
So I
sure.
put it in 2 kettles.
Sure. And you're just gonna bring them to a boil? Okay.
Bring them to a boil. Then
All
you
right.
put your things in, and they're not easy to make.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that part in a moment, I suppose. Okay, here's the important part. You're cutting it up. Were you just poking it down to make sure it gets covered?
It got doubled up. And I
Oh,
just
separated.
poked
Oh, I see.
it. It doubled itself when I put it.
Okay, so now we have 2 pots. There's the one I cut. Here's the one Grandma did. Ooh, hot. And how long do you let them cook for, Grandma? How long do you let them cook for?
45 minutes approximately.
Okay. And so we'll check them at about 9 o'clock. We'll check one at 1/4 till, and then they're about 15 minutes apart, I think. Good morning. We have a visitor today. This is Madeline. Say hi, Madeline.
Hi.
Hi. So what we did is after the steaks cooked in the pots for about 45 minutes, they then have to cool in their liquid. And so we let it cool overnight. The second step, or the next day step, is to fry all the pieces up. So let me show you the kettles cooling overnight. All right, so here are the kettles cooling in the sink. You can see they've cooled down overnight. There's one. And there's another. They've absorbed all that liquid, it looks like. The tapioca helps.
Yeah,
And
this
it's just
is
kind of
so
in a, yeah, it's kind of in a water bath. All right, perfect. Now we're gonna get frying. Okay, so we've started to lay out some of the steaks, and now you're sprinkling it with a flour and brewer's yeast mix.
What is it? Oh, it is. Oh,
Um,
they're not cooked yet. I don't know why you have it raw one. Oh. Beats me. I don't think I.
And I smell that griddle getting nice and hot.
It's very hot,
Yes.
and I need to get these on there.
Do you put it on the highest setting?
No, I put it on 300 or so. You just have to adjust it to. You may have to turn it down some or turn it up some or whatever.
And you use a spray?
I do. I started out with spray. Sometimes put a little oil in.
Okay. And you just frying them up.
Okay.
Well, perfect. I could see how this could take quite some time.
Yes, it does.
Well, let me get in there and help you. Okay, well, there you have it. The last of the steaks are frying on the griddle. And here are 2 pans full of already fried steaks. It's nice to get them a little crispy on the ends. And then what Grandma does with the leftover gravy or broth, she makes it into a gravy with some cream of mushroom soup and brown gravy, that sort of thing. Well, there you have it. That only took several hours.